What's up, you guys? It's Steve here. Hope that you and the family had a blessed weekend. And today we're getting word that Democrats, they are pressuring Joe Biden to step up executive orders and executive actions to get things done across the board. And one of those is also stimulus. This is your breaking news, Building a Better America, Build Back Better, and stimulus check update. Now, let me know your thoughts. What if we had a fourth federal level stimulus check that was sent out and it was via executive order? Now, a lot of people will say, well, the president doesn't have the power of the purse. That stands with Congress, and that is correct. However, he can reallocate existing funds for similar uses, like we saw former President Donald Trump do for the LWA program, where he took FEMA disaster relief funds and sent it out for additional federal unemployment benefits. And people are saying, well, hey, we've got $800 billion of leftover stimulus money. That's right, hasn't been used, just sitting there. Why don't we reallocate that for federal level stimulus checks? Take a look, you guys. Articles coming out like this. House Democrats want more executive actions from Biden, and the president keeps up efforts to blame Putin for inflation and gas prices. And right now, gas prices is the main thing that is pushing more stimulus. As I reported to you, take a look, you guys. Soaring gas prices are hurting Americans. It's time for more stimulus checks. And yes, that is on a federal level, they're suggesting. Now, take a look. We already had legislation released by Congress for more checks. Democrats unveil a plan to issue quarterly checks to Americans by taxing oil companies posting huge profits. So just as of recently, this is starting to get a whole lot more attention. It's like stimulus checks is coming back on the radar, and I've mentioned this to you guys before. I'm expecting it's going to start ramping up as we get closer to midterm elections. They're going to want to remind people, hey, keep us in power. That's what they're going to be saying, as they're going to be suggesting more direct payments to people to convince people to vote in their favor. And we're hearing that this is happening in states as well. Take a look, you guys. Democratic leaders seem on board as Governor Gavin Newsom proposes gas money for Californians, saying, hey, stimulus checks, that's right, tax rebates. We need to send these out to help people pay for this increasing priced gas. And I reported to you yesterday, Florida has done the same thing. Florida drivers could get a gas tax break in October, which is right before midterm elections. So you guys, let me know your thoughts, legislation or executive order. Either way, delivering stimulus checks in some form. Oh, and also, the second channel, Steve Ram Finance, we have a new flip project underway, and I'm going to be sharing with you guys the entire process and journey. For those of you interested, I'll pin a link down below. I released the first video, day one of construction, so go check it out. We're going to keep you up to date on that project for those that are interested. Now, let's go ahead and dive in, get you caught up on the latest as to what Congress is saying about executive actions and stimulus. But before we do, if you could do me a quick favor, just takes a second. If you appreciate the updates, don't forget, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Helps out the channel a ton. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments. Share this out if you think it's going to help out other people. If this is your first time here and you want to stay up to date, totally free to do so. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, and if you got any specific questions for me, I'm easy to get a hold of directly. All you got to do is hop onto Instagram, shoot me a DM at SteveRam3. But with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and dive right in, get you caught up on the latest on executive orders, stimulus, and everything happening. All right, so link in the description below to this article that came out Friday, and it's going to be giving us an update, and it says House Democrats want more executive actions from Biden. President keeps up his efforts to blame Putin for inflation and gas prices. And we're going to be hearing here executive orders, executive actions, these requests directly from the president. These are when legislation is not working, when Congress can't get it all together, and the president just steps up and steps in and takes action. Now, the article says President Joe Biden on Friday continued to blame both the pandemic and Russian President Vladimir Putin for high gas prices and sought to blunt arguments about federal spending, aka stimulus packages, contributing to inflation. Now, we've got two arguments here. Let me know your thoughts. We have a lot of Republicans and conservatives saying that all of the stimulus packages that were passed before are contributing and adding to inflation, which is now at a 40-year high. And if we pass more or too much or unnecessary stimulus, it's going to be causing inflation to go even higher and worsen. Now, on the other hand, we do have a lot of data and research coming out saying that yes, stimulus is contributing to inflation, but not as greatly as one might think. Right now, it's at a 7.5% increase, and they're saying that all the stimulus that was passed doesn't even equate to 1% of an increase in inflation. They're saying it's a combination of things. Stimulus packages, supply chain issues, slowdowns from the pandemic, what's happening with Russia and Ukraine, and all of these compiled together is causing massive inflation. So we've got the two arguments. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And the one argument saying that it's not going to be increasing it as greatly as we might think, they're suggesting we need more stimulus to help people get through this time since it's not going to be adding as greatly. And once we get done with all of the other issues, then inflation's going to slow down and it's going to creep down and it's not going to be as bad as we're experiencing. Let me know your thoughts, you guys. But reading on, it says that people didn't spend money on leisure activities, so they wanted to spend it on other things, on hard goods, home improvements, televisions, additions to their home, the very products that slowed down by disruption in the supply chain because there weren't people cutting 2x4s because of the pandemic, Biden said during his visit to the House Democrats' Issues Conference. Now, conceding he was preaching to the choir, the president also said the second big reason for inflation is Vladimir Putin. From the moment that he put his over 150,000 troops on the Ukrainian border, the prices of gasoline in January went up by 75 cents. And you guys, this is the major push right now for more stimulus checks. We heard from the president that gas prices, they're not coming down anytime soon. As a matter of fact, they're just probably going to keep going up. And as a result, they're saying, since we can't slow it down, the only thing we probably can do is put money in people's pockets to help them pay for this increased gas pricing. Now, ahead of Biden's arrival on Friday, members were advocating for him to take further executive action on issues from voting rights to policing policies to immigration. There's a ton of different ones, and one of them also is stimulus. They're saying, listen, we need to get something done if legislation won't pass through with reconciliation or the traditional means. Executive actions are going to be necessary, and we've got to get something done this midterm year election. However, listen to this, but executive actions were not the president's focus either in his public remarks or during question and answer sessions in the House Democrats that followed. According to, now listen to this, Congressional Progressive Caucus Chair Pramila Jayapal, the caucus is working to craft a set of executive actions that they would like to see from Biden. So they're saying, listen, we're actually going to prepare for you all the executive actions that we want you to take. And they're getting them ready. They've got a list of all these things that they're saying they need to be done, and they need to be done right away. And one of those is additional stimulus spending. Now, Majority Whip James Clyburn, a key ally for the president, recalled a recent meeting with Biden and a congressional Black Caucus in which members referenced the significance of executive authority. Executive orders do have power. The armed services were integrated by Harriet Tubman by executive order. Jumping down, it says on Friday, Clyburn and Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi each referenced the Emancipation Proclamation being an executive order signed by Abraham Lincoln that was the precursor to amending the Constitution to ban slavery. The Congressional Hispanic Caucus has similarly advocated for furthering executive actions in areas such as immigration as well. Legislation is always our preferred strategy. From the Speaker to the Majority Leader, everyone behind me, we know that there is no substitute for developing laws that develop benefits to our communities, said the caucus Vice Chair Peter Aguilar. But we also need partners on the other side of the aisle who are willing to do that. And time again, Republicans have not supported taking action, whether it's delivering voting rights or ensuring that people who call there is no other country that is their home except the United States to ensure that they're protected. Now listen to this, you guys. Pramila Jayapal said that her caucus hopes to unveil a broad slate of proposed executive actions next week. Now, she declined to give reporters details, but jumping down, she said, I don't want anyone to think or believe that executive actions is better than legislation. We would have always preferred to have legislation, but certainly there's a lot of areas where if we don't get legislation, the administration can take action. So when she's saying when Congress can't work together, that's when it's time for the president to step in, and B, the administration can take action to help move us more quickly toward the goals that we're working on. And we're hearing they want to do this right away because, as I mentioned, it's midterm elections year. Now, Republicans in Congress are opposing this, which is why they're not going to be able to pass legislation through the traditional means for additional spending. And also, conservative Democrats like Senator Joe Manchin are saying they are not necessarily on board either, which is why we're having trouble with the process of reconciliation. Now, he is working on the Build Back Better plan, but for more stimulus provisions, doesn't seem like he is. So that's why they're saying executive orders, executive actions might be the way forward. And listen to this, Representative Colin Alfred of Texas, he downplayed noise that's out there about inflation and gas, arguing it's not being caused by what we've done, but it's being driven by the forces that we're trying to combat. During the conference, members highlighted that it was a year ago that they passed the $1.9 trillion pandemic package. That included relief checks, the stimulus checks of $1,400 sent to taxpayers, and monthly tax credit payments to parents. Despite those efforts, Biden saw his approval rating drop during the year. So they're saying that they believe that is one of the main reasons that is causing this surge of inflation. Us trying to combat the pandemic, we're creating an economic disaster. So there you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I will keep you up to date on this. Likely this week we're hearing the Democratic Progressive Caucus is going to be releasing that list of executive orders and actions that they're going to be pressuring President Joe Biden to pass through, and we will see what he does, and I will keep you up to date. And as always, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. Again, if you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget to take a quick second, smash that like button for me. I appreciate it. It helps out the channel a ton. If you missed my last videos on everything happening in California and Florida with stimulus checks for gas prices, the legislation that's being passed, everything that is being pushed right now for more stimulus checks, check out those videos. I will keep you up to date here on the channel. To stay up to date, totally free, you can come join the Ram fam. All you got to do is hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. I'll keep you up to speed on everything going on, giving you just all the sources directly here, reading from all the stuff. I show you everything so you know that it's accurate and up to date. And also, if you got any specific questions for me, I'm easy to get a hold of directly. All you got to do is hop onto Instagram, shoot me a DM at SteveRam3. And if you're interested in finding out more about growing wealth, personal finance, some of the flip projects we got going on, check out my second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to learn about those. But you guys, again, thank you so much for joining me. Hope that you have a blessed Monday, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.